A very good evening, everyone. My name is Shuvodeep Chatterjee, and I am the presenter for this newsroom tonight. With me, I have Prakhar, Mishra, and Kriti Sinha from Cashify. Cashify is a company that's actually turning e-waste into something very useful for us. Let us find how. But then, before we start, first I think we need to understand what the term circular economy means. Let us understand that from Prakhar, probably. Prakhar, would you care to share with us?
Thank you for asking that question, Shuvodeep. So, it's a very valid question in the times today when we are full of like society is producing so much garbage everywhere. And e-waste is not harmful till it gets mixed with the waste streams and reaches a landfill. Most devices are lying in people's drawers and cupboard, wasting valuable resources due to common perception that it's difficult to sell them as the effort required in selling it is high, which never happens in most cases.
Alright, so that's a really great new perspective we got. Now, coming to the importance of circular economy in the e-waste segment itself, Kriti, what do you think is really the importance?
So Shuvodeep, I would say on that as Prakhar already mentioned that, generally the electronic devices that we use these days are lying in the cupboards and the drawers of people and is, just rotting up there and nothing happens to them literally, and people do not even have the option to, discard them. They're not of that perception. The lack is of the perception. So here I would like to mention that extending the life cycle of a product and making it available for use decreases the burden on extracting new materials and new resources for making a new device. So if you are recycling the e-waste that is being generated, it definitely is reducing the amount of resources that we use to create new ones. So ultimately, post the usable life of the device, it needs to be collected and recycled respectively.
Great, that's a really new insight that we got tonight. Now, again, people, help me understand this, please. Now, the circular economy model is something that's been there rather very newishly, correct? If I'm not wrong. So, how did you understand how to incorporate this into the e-segment model itself?
So I'm assuming that you are asking this question in perspective of Cashify?
Yes, of course.
So I'll start with what we are doing about it, and I believe that though the talking of this topic has been something recent, but this topic is not something new. It was, but we were not aware of it because it was growing up, it was piling up, and when the problem has become so much big, then we are talking about it. In very short, in one line, what we are, as a Cashify we are doing, we are making it easy for people to sell their old electronic devices. The devices which are bought back are tested, data wiped, refurbished, and then sold in the second-hand market, which recently data has shown that it's a very booming market in this country. And we also build innovative technology solution to make adoption and implementation of CE easier. And
I think that's again great the way your company is working right now. It's really commendable. Kriti, would you help us understanding how Cashify is actually leading this segment altogether?
Okay, so continuing what Prakhar already mentioned, so we take the old devices back from the customer, recycle it, and we are actually leading the segment in this space wherein we have focused on building a direct C2B brand, a customer to buyer brand, and at the same time build strong relationships with e-tailers, OEMs, retail chains to be present as a trade-in and exchange solution provider at every point of sales. So we have also opened offline stores to facilitate trade-in and sale of refurbished devices. Also, I would like to mention that the data privacy, which is a rising concern these days, which is definitely arises in case of using electronic devices. You have your data, and some way or the other, that data if lost can cause a person huge consequences. So that data privacy matter, when it comes up, we deal it with the utmost sincerity, and that is how we are one of the most trusted ones in this segment.
All right. Again, thank you for that insight from the both of you. Now, coming to the business model and the unit economics of Cashify itself, how do you think it works? I mean, any one of you could answer.
It's not very difficult. It's we make money by selling the devices post refurbishing to our end customers, and I'm happy to say that we are operationally profitable.
Right.
Yeah. So if you want that.
So actually Prakhar, Mishra and Kriti, Sinha here guys, they're actually letting us know how Cashify is actually leading the segment with C2B. We'll take a short break and be right back with you guys right in a few seconds. Thank you so much for watching this newsroom. Stay online.
Remember, Cashify आपको देगा instant quote, a short sale, doorstep pickup and on-spot payment. And that's how you can be sure to get the ideal deal for your old smartphone. इतनी गंदी मूंछें आ रही हैं. Old smartphone, Cashify.
Good evening again. I am here with Prakhar, Mishra and Kriti Sinha from Cashify, and we were actually discussing about how their company is revolutionizing the industry. So coming back to the set of questions, I hope you guys are still game for a few more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah?
Definitely.
So the next question for the both of you is actually how e-waste in the circular economy model is different from the other sorts of wastes.
Right, that is a very good question, I must say. So the first thing that we feel or that Cashify realized very early was that e-waste is quite easy to segregate when it comes to in comparison with the solid waste, which is definitely a huge, humongous task to overcome. So one problem solved that you do not have to classify the waste, and people definitely, if they are interested, they'll pull in their electronic devices, older ones, and maybe that is how we flourish. The second, I would say that the value of the electronic devices that we are getting is comparatively higher than the potential residual usable value that it makes, and is more lucrative as you can extend the life of a device by undergoing the process. The third one, I will say that the recycling of circuit board leads to extraction of precious metals and making the end of life cycling lucrative again. So overall, the whole, I would say the whole e-waste industry as such is very lucrative because you can derive metals, the segregation is easier. So overall, like that.
Thank you for such an extensively well developed answer, Kriti. Now, coming to the next question. So what is the kind of policy support and government assistance and direction that Cashify is getting?
Well, recently a lot of changes this present government is bringing, and they are working in this particular direction. Government have recently passed e-waste recycling rules in 2016, which has given a good push to extended producer responsibility, and producer responsibility is increasing, and people are now getting a push from the government side in this business, and we are also a beneficiary of it.
So you're saying your business is actually pushed by the government itself?
No, I'm saying that the government has started to bring some changes in this direction, which was very essentially part and was not done in the previous governments, and we are being beneficiary of the changes which have been brought from 2000.
So if I'm not wrong, that's making things easier for your business altogether,
Right.
isn't
It's
it?
kind of a leverage we can derive.
So there's something good that the government of India is also helping Cashify today. Now coming to the last question that I have for the both of you this evening is, there's a certain problem that we've all noticed, and I'm sure even you have too, which is that the entire organized industry in this segment is more or less, I think the efficiency level of that is about 10%. So how do you plan on dealing with that?
But me and Kriti were discussing the same question, so I think that Kriti would like to take this.
Right. So when it comes to the facts and figures, the whole organized industry in the e-waste segment is less than 10% of the potential market, which is absolutely minimalistic to cater to. So in terms of tech innovation, if we say we are focusing a lot on improving tech for device condition assessment and also building back-end ops strength for handling larger volumes. So definitely a company like us, which has just started and has a new business model to work upon, would definitely look forward to exploring the remaining segment that is still unexplored.
All right. So thank you for answering all these questions so patiently, guys. Just if I may take another minute to summarize everything. Tonight at this newsroom, we have gotten to know what circular economy is all about, how that model is implemented in the e-waste segment, and how Cashify is actually leading that. We also got to know the business model and economics that Cashify is actually getting out of this. We got to know how the government of India is actually supporting this kind of a business as well. And then we also got to know how Cashify is enforcing tech innovation so as to support the organized industry that is not so organized yet. Thank you so much, Prakhar.
It has been a pleasure, Shuvodeep.
Thank you so much, Kriti.
Definitely.
It's been a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to have you as well. Hope to see you again. Thank you so much. Let's end this session of Newsroom tonight. Thank you all for watching. See you again. Bye-bye.